Hey, all J-Man here. All right. With James Gunn's Superman Legacy coming, I guess, in about a year or two, and there's a lot of Superman cartoons. Superman's my favorite character, with that Lois and Clark, or no, what was it called? Superman and Lois, which you may as well call Man and Lois, because doesn't do anything super, or at least for not for very long. Mostly gets beat up. Supergirl concluded. We've got a whole bunch of new Superman comic books, restarted some numbering on a couple of them. I wanted to kind of look back and just think what the last time that everybody was on board was with Christopher Reeve, Superman Part 1. It's the best superhero movie. That's a duh. It's in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. But even if it's not your favorite superhero movie, or you don't think it's the best superhero movie, or the best Superman movie even, it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't matter what you think. What I'm saying that the general public, the populace at large, all think that's a really good movie, and that was the last time where everyone kind of was on board. Now, there's going to be a few stragglers here and there, like, I didn't like that movie because I'm an idiot, whatever. It doesn't, like, my mom likes that movie. My father-in-law likes that movie. My wife likes it. My niece and nephew like it. Pretty much everyone thinks it's a pretty good movie. They might not think it's the best like me. They might not love it, but they think it's good. Okay? That was Part 1. That was the last time where everybody, or let's say 95% of moviegoers, thought, wow, that was really good. That was a solid movie. Reviewers liked it. It was just solid. After that, okay, so 2, some people really like Part 2. Some people like Part 2 better. Some people don't like Part 2 as much. He gives up his powers. That's always a trope that people don't like. Spider-Man did that. Oh, I don't want to be Spider-Man anymore. I don't want to be Superman anymore. I don't want to be Batman anymore. Right? Whatever. 3, it's goofy. Where he fights himself, that's cool. 4, low budget. The effects were very poor. Whatever. After that, though, it was a decline. And we're at this stage here where it's like the brand of Superman is not really anything that's an automatic sell. Like, there would be a few brand names like Star Wars, Superman, even Batman, if you hit up to 89 and on, even Star Trek to a point, though lower because the fan base of Star Trek was very devoted, but not as many as like a Star Wars or superheroes. But if you slapped on Star Wars on anything, it's like Kiss, right? If Gene will take the Kiss logo and slap it on anything, and then that's it, right? Like, so you slap on Star Wars, that's like automatic buying, right? Superman, you put Superman socks. Oh, I gotta get Superman socks. Superman, cereal. Oh, gotta get it, right? Bread, it's like Superman bread. Oh, gotta get Superman bread, right? So you put that, Superman logo or the S on anything, and that's like guaranteed, right? It's not like that anymore. It's not even like that for Batman anymore, which he usurped everybody. Batman became the king of DC. He's still there. He's still there. But he's not there as big as he was, and he's never been there as big as Superman was. And to try to figure out why this has declined, it's that, and even if you don't like the other Christopher Reeve films, most people say that, yeah, he was the best live action Superman. Now, George Reeves was fine, right? And in that time period, people truly believed that was Superman, and there's Kurt Allen and whatever. But Christopher Reeve is sort of the big one, right? And he's one of my favorite people. I have a monthly recurring donation to his charity. They just automatically take it out of my account. And yes, that's because it's Christopher Reeve, and yes, that's because he was Superman, and he's my favorite. So it is what it is. Superman is just the best character for me. Okay. So what the hell's going on? Like, what happened? Right? Well, what happened is that people started to lose track of what Superman is. And this is the secret that nobody knows. Well, everyone knows the secret. It's not said often enough, and I needed an excuse to do a video, so this is why I'm telling you the secret. He's a gentleman. He's old-fashioned, good-hearted gentleman. He opens the door for people. He pays for dinner. If they, right? Like, he's a good person. He doesn't lie, right? He's not going to cheat someone. He's not going to put someone's career ahead of safety. He's going to help people. If you're a criminal, he's going to stop you, but he's still going to try to not kill you if possible. Would he kill? Would he not kill? That depends on the writer and the editor at DC Comics the day that story came out. That's it. Generally, superheroes don't kill. People keep having this debate. Does Batman kill? Does Superman kill? Well, realistically, no one does. Wonder Woman doesn't kill. Flash doesn't kill. Green Lantern doesn't kill. Aquaman doesn't kill. Because killing isn't really the right answer. And superheroes are going to choose the right thing to do. This deconstructing of heroes, that's great in a title called Watchmen, or something that's not the mainstream characters, where it's not really a a traditional superhero comic book. Heroes don't kill. The Flash doesn't kill people. Like, I don't, it's like, does Superman kill people? Well, if the Flash doesn't, then Superman doesn't, right? Would he kill in the hands of a writer that is skilled, that presents Superman with a situation where he really does have to kill for the greater good? Would he kill? I guess he would, if that writer is saying that he would. But really, you shouldn't even be getting into that territory. The fact that you're even getting into the territory of would he kill in the right circumstances, you're already lost. You've already lost. You've gone too far away from what Superman is supposed to be. He saves people. He fights threats to the world. He's an action-adventure superhero. He's a science fiction superhero. Where's the going to another planet and helping out aliens or something? That happens in the comics all of the time. Why don't we see some of that in a film or a show, or at least more of it? He is not a sidekick to Lois Lane. I already did my 5 things that piss me off about Superman fans. You can check that video out on my channel. He's not a sidekick. It's not Lois Lane is after a story. It's not Lois and Clark. Lois is after a story and Clark's tagging along. No, that's not interesting. We don't want that. It's not finding himself for an hour of the film, or 10 seasons of him being in Smallville and never being Superboy. The only Superboy show we ever liked was Superboy because he was Superboy in it. We don't want Super Clark or the red and blue blur, which is the dumbest thing really I've ever heard of. Okay, that's really stupid. And Smallville has its fans, and that's fine, but it's not Superman, is it? It's him walking around as Clark Kent, and we don't care at all. Like, I don't care. It's not an action adventure. It has its fans, that's fine. I'm not knocking it. I bought it all. I've got it on Blu-ray. It is what it is because I buy all the Superman stuff, but look, it's not Superman. It's not him going on kooky adventures with Jimmy and Lois as a teenager. Oh, I'm going on kooky adventures. Hee hee hee. Like that, My Adventures with Superman. What is that? It's not Superman and Lois. It's Superman. Lois is a supporting character. That's it. Anyway, Superman, the secret is he's a gentleman. You watch the movie, you want to root for him, you like him immediately. He doesn't find himself for an hour, right? And it's Man of Steel because he's not Superman yet, or he hasn't found himself. What, the guy's like 30 years old, hasn't found himself? What's going on here? I found him, he's right there. There, I found him for you. Like he doesn't know what his purpose is. What are you talking about? Nobody knows what their purpose is. Even now, I don't know. The point is that Superman saves people. That's his purpose. It's a comic book character. He learned what to do immediately. In the first Superman film, you had the Jor-El parts, that's fine. And the Smallville parts are very short, but it's very important. And they say a lot in a couple of scenes, right? His father has a heart attack. He's like, oh no, with all my powers, I couldn't save him. Boom, there he's learned. And people keep saying Superman's OP. Well, if he's OP, how come he can't save someone who gets a heart attack? Because you can't do that. So he's not overpowered that much. Number 2, he wants to play football. He's like, oh, I could get a touchdown. And the dad's like, look, you're not here to show off your skills. That's it. You're here for a reason. It's not to score touchdowns. Great, 2 great scenes right there with the father. That's it. And then move on. Okay, it's like we want to see Superman as a grown adult who is a responsible, good person. He says swell, right? He wears a suit and tie. He doesn't just show up like me. Oh, look, I'm wearing a stupid Transformers shirt. I'm coming into my job. Like, did I shave today? Didn't feel like shaving today. Didn't feel like it, so I got a bit of a stubble. It's like, clean yourself up, buddy. Did you shampoo your hair? I didn't feel like shampooing today. Like, like, okay, that's not Superman. He's clean, cut, shaven, short hair. The long hair was awful. Doesn't have a beard. He's clean. He shows up with a hat, tie, suit. It doesn't matter. Well, in modern days, people don't really wear all that stuff. Well, Clark Kent does, because he's an old-fashioned gentleman hat. That's it. I like anything other than that is never going to achieve the popularity that Superman did. Oh, the times are a-changing. That people don't want all of that anymore. Are you sure about that? Are you positive? Because they're still saying this Christopher Reeve movie is the best one. I just saw an article not too long ago, the other day, top hero movies. What's another top hero movie, just as a comparison? Spider-Man 2, right? Tobey Maguire. Why? Because you like him in that movie, and you want him to win, and he's a good person. He's trying to do the right thing. He's going to school. He's got a job, right? He's not saying this job's too good. He's delivering pizzas because he needs money. Can't Spider-Man just go and get money by doing Spider-Man things? Right. But he doesn't do that because he's a good person. He's like, I'm just going to get a regular job and do the best I can at that job and do the best I can in school. Takes care of his aunt, right? That's why they like Spider-Man too. It's like, what are some of the ones that people don't like? Pick anything modern Marvel. It's like, people love Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Why? Because the Winter Soldier is a gentleman. He's from the 40s. He's a good person. He listens to LPs, right? He's a nice guy. He doesn't lie. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't go on YouTube and cancel people. He doesn't go on Twitter and block people or whatever. It's like, none of that stuff happens. They like him, right? That's why they like him. The other heroes, which people do like let's say a Tony Stark or something, well, he's an interesting character and he's kind of fun. But your Captain Americas, your Supermans, right? These need to be the ideals. Every kid's going to be like, I want to be Captain America. I want to be Superman. Kids might like to be Iron Man because he has cool Iron Man gadgets. Not because they want to be Tony Stark as much, right? Like, kids aren't going to cosplay as Tony Stark. They're like, oh, I want to be Iron Man because he has a cool suit, right? So Iron Man, the costumes appeal to the young audience, and they have to remain true as well. You can't change the costumes. That's why Iron Man was good. Captain America is good, right? They have the costumes. Superman needs his costume. And I did a whole thing on that in my other video. But yeah, he needs to be a gentleman that you're pumped up for. You need to be on his side immediately. You need to feel his pain. When Lois dies in that first movie and he's upset, you're upset. You're not upset because Lois is dead. I mean, deep down, he's going to save her, right? So I'm not like, I love Lois so much that Lois was such a great character that I feel sad that she's dead. I feel sad that Superman is sad because I don't want Superman to be sad. I want him to be happy. That is the key ingredient that is missing from all these other ones. You can have your drama. Like, do you really want to see a story where Superman leaves and returns and has a son that he was born out of wedlock? Oh, getting married and having kids, it's so old-fashioned. It's just stupid. But that's what Superman's supposed to stand for, right? You shouldn't be having 400 kids out of wedlock and then you got to pay child support if you're even paying child support, right? It's like, I don't know. Like, this is not a thing that happens. Superman doesn't do that. It happens with other people because they're regular people. They're not Superman. They're regular man. What else? Yeah, that's the secret. There, I've given it to you. James Gunn, you're welcome. It's a 14-minute video. Sorry. But yeah, I gave you the secrets. That's it. That's the secret. It's so simple. He's a gentleman. You like him. You root for him. You want him to win. You want him to be happy. You want him to succeed. Right? Like, look, Lex Luthor in that movie is a super funny character. Gene Hackman's great. He's wacky. He's pretty smart. He's got the bomb set up. He finds a kryptonite. When Superman gets nailed to that kryptonite, you're like, oh man, what the hell? And there's kryptonite. It's going to happen in this movie. You're waiting for it, right? And then he's like, oh, and you're just like, oh no, God, I've shown it to my niece and nephew who are younger, and they're like, oh man. Oh, when Superman turned evil in part 3, my nephew was devastated. He's like, what is happening? And he wasn't like a little kid. He was like 12 or something. And it's like, he's like, oh, what the hell's going on here? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh shit. And now that evil Superman is still more bright and colorful than the Superman costumes we got later. It's like he needs to be bright red and blue so that any human can look and be like, yes, he looks good. He's clean shaven, clean cut. You know, he's got short hair, big red, blue, bright colors. That immediately in your mind signals your mind that this is a good person, right? Anything other than that, the black costume, if you see someone in a black costume and cape, that's usually established as villains. This is why Batman works well, because he's dark. So he looks like a villain, but he's a vigilante. If Batman showed up, you'd be scared of him. If you didn't know anything about Batman or Superman and both of them showed up at the same time, you'd be like, oh, Superman must be the good guy. He doesn't have a mask. His face is exposed. So you can connect to him as a human. Batman's like, you know, got the ears and it's like he's got the pointy nose and it's like this cape and he's all black. You're like, oh shit, what is this thing? This is very scary. Superman has his face exposed. You can see him. He's bright. Okay. I mean, I'm making this video just to make a video, but like really, this is like so obvious, but it seems like people don't get it. So that's why I'm making it. Anyways, there you go. It's a longer video than I wanted, but I felt it was important to give my thoughts on this. That's it, everybody. Now remember, join us on every Monday for a Legion of Superheroes live stream. If you're a fan of the Legion of Superheroes, we're doing every single appearance of the Legion every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And for the next couple of months, depending on when you see this video, so August, September, maybe into October, we're doing Jack Kirby's Fourth World every Friday. So Fourth World Fridays, we're going through every Jack Kirby Fourth World issue, okay? So join us for that. All right, guys, that's it. Until next time.